Hello.
Hello. Who's there?
Hi. It's Aim to Be Me podcast. And my very special friend, Eleutheria.
Hello,
Eleutheria.
everybody. You.
Hi, everyone. Uh, I get nervous and I laugh a lot. So it's going to be a laugh a minute. Anyway, so welcome to the show. What?
Thank you. Nothing. I was going to say that laughing is
Okay.
good. And then you carried on talking, so I didn't want to interrupt you. So I shut up.
Ah,
That's all.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, welcome to my first episode on the Aim to Be Me podcast. And I just wanted to have you on as my first guest because I really value you as a friend, a woman, and a super mom. So,
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you so much. It's an honor to be your first guest. And it's been great making new friends over this YouTube journey as well. So I'm really glad to be here. So thank you.
Thank you for coming on. So, today we're just going to talk to you about like choosing to be a stay-home mom. I know before the show, and we've spoken about this before, you've said you've never really spoken about it on your channel.
No.
And this is a great place to.
Yeah, it just really
Okay,
didn't.
correct me.
It
Oh.
really just didn't seem to be the correct topic for my channel because my channel is about liberty and like basically being a freedom extremist. So it just didn't really gel
Mm.
with what that channel's about. And then you started this channel, and I was like, well, that's actually where we could talk about it, is because it's all from what I've understood from what you want to achieve with this podcast is figuring out who your genuine self is and perhaps inspiring other people to figure out who their genuine self is. So, yeah, I
Mm.
just thought
That's
it would be
exactly
good.
it. I mean, thank you. Yeah, so just about my podcast, and you said it so beautifully on your stream the other day. It's a platform for me to be my true, authentic self and discovering who Amy is. So it's Aim to Be Me podcast, and it's all about transforming into a better me, better, and also building resilience in everything in life, emotionally, also coming off the state in a way. Like I know you talk a
Mm,
lot about that on your show. You have a lot of
mm.
guests. Gentle says hello.
Hello, Gentle.
Hello, Gentle.
And hello,
And
Adam.
Adam. Oh, hello, Ads Unscrewed. I just want to say well done yesterday on your show. It really was a tear jerker. Really
Yeah,
brought those feels, and I'm really
all the
proud of
feels.
how far you've come. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's a bit nerve-wracking, guys. I'm a bit nervous, so just bear with me. So I actually wanted to talk to you about becoming a stay-home mom because I don't really have any experience with that. The only experience I have with that is my mom. And she used to be a working woman back in the day, back in her day. Um, she used to work at a magazine, the Essay Gardening magazine, and she did really well for herself. She was a career driven woman. And then we got the opportunity to move to India. And she gave up her career and she became a stay home mom. And yeah, look, it's been hard for my mom. Um, it's also look, she doesn't want me to talk about it, so I won't. But I've seen it make her a bit antisocial.
Mm.
So I don't know if you can
Yeah,
comment about anything.
I think the major difference between your mom's experience and my experience is that I'm doing it in my home country. So I still have people that speak
Mm.
my own language, have the same cultural practices as me, and all of that. So I can still maintain like a social life. And there are a lot of homeschooling families in South Africa. And I've made some really good friends through, networking through the Facebook groups on homeschooling and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I think that would probably be the major difference is that um, it hasn't made me more antisocial than I already was. It's enabled my antisocial tendencies,
Okay.
yes, but because I am an introvert, and that's probably one of the because what ties into me being a stay-at-home mom is that we also homeschool our children. So it because I'm an introvert, my husband's an introvert, we pretty much have introverted children. The logical decision was for us to homeschool because public school just wasn't working out for my daughter. Like, she cannot thrive in a school of over 1,000 kids. She can't. So, so
Because she needs
yeah,
that
this.
individual attention.
Yeah, and it's the noise. It's just the general noise of being in such a big environment. Like, I think actual
Mm.
physical noise that you hear, but also the emotional noise, like seeing all of the stuff that you see in public school, like the bullying, even if it's not like high level bullying, it's like just the way that people don't really talk to each other very nicely and stuff like that. I think that really
Mm.
was part and parcel of why she was struggling in school. So, yeah, it
Has
just,
she
what we do
become better
work.
in her studies?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't have to nag her to do schoolwork. I mean, I threaten to take away privileges, but I don't have to cajole her like I
Mm.
used to cajole her to get her out of bed and eat her breakfast in time and get ready for school and then get to school and then when she gets home, like carry on and do more schoolwork because they can't get it finished in the class because there's one or two kids that disrupt everything and just little things like that. And I apologize for the howling Labradonkey.
Interesting.
I,
Is it the Labrador one?
yes, it's Nelson. And everybody's eating, so they can't deal with it
He's a
for me.
cutie.
He is a kitty.
Um, okay, give us some back history because I look, we met through YouTube. We've only been friends, I would say, about 2 months, maybe more. Can't remember
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Give
don't know.
me
Time's just a
some
social
background
construct
story.
now. Sorry. um,
Yes.
yes, background story. So I've actually done it all. Okay, I've been a work from home mother, freelancing as a bookkeeper. I've
Mm.
been a full time employed bookkeeper. I've been a half day employed bookkeeper, and now I'm literally all I do is I'm a stay at home mom. So I've done it all, and they all have their own challenges and stuff that you have to deal with that you don't expect. Like when I went half day, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have so much time to spend with Hannah to do her homework, and spend so much more time with the middle child was the youngest then, and it's just going to be so nice.
Mm.
And I realized after about a week that I wasn't eating lunch. I'd forgotten to eat lunch because
Really?
instead of taking a lunch break, which you have to when you're a full-time employed
Mm.
person, I at the time when I would normally take a lunch break was when I was leaving work. So I wasn't eating
Right.
lunch.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
so that that was interesting. Like, I thought, this would be the solution to all the stress and everything that was going on in terms of being a working mother. And yeah, it turned out that it has its own challenges. So, yes. So, I was retrenched in April 2016. And we were at the
Mm.
time actively looking at immigrating. So, I decided, well, I'm just not going to look for another job here in South Africa. And I'll keep the younger two at home, the boys, and keep on sending Hannah to school until we leave. And here we are 4 years later, and we're still here. And I'm still not looking for a job
Four
because
years.
4 years, yeah. Because like a whole bunch of stuff, like I don't want to turn this into an immigration podcast either, but a whole bunch of rules changed for the country that we were looking at going to. And so we no longer qualified, and there were so we looked at other options and stuff like that, and it just never worked out. And I'm grateful that it didn't work out, because then I became aware of woke politics and stuff like that, identity politics, and I was like, I actually just don't want to raise my kids in that. So we're happy that
Where
we're
were you going to
here.
move to?
New Zealand or Canada.
Mm.
Yeah.
Would you still move there?
No. This is the last I'm going to say on the immigration for now, hopefully. But if there's one thing lockdown has taught me, it's where I don't want to live. The countries that I
Wasn't it
don't want to
in
live in.
Australia where they arrested? Yeah, I think just on that, I think it's Australia when they arrested that pregnant mom
Yes.
for posting something on Facebook, and that I was like, I'm out. I'm never even considering ever looking at
Well,
Australia after
well,
what I
they
saw there.
they were already scratched off of our list ages ago, because like what happened with that woman didn't surprise me. It disgusted me, but I wasn't surprised, because they were already off of our list, because of different things that I'd heard already. So yeah,
Mm.
no,
Wow, okay. It did shock me though. I was quite horrified.
yeah.
So yeah. Actually, so you've been staying home for 4 years. I didn't know that about you. I honestly thought it was just like a new thing because of COVID
No.
and because of lockdown, and now you have to homeschool your children. And so that's interesting. I can't. How do you feel? Like, what is your daily routine? Give us like a quick daily routine of Supermom.
Okay, so lockdown made bad habits, and we were sleeping later because Dad wasn't getting up and leaving. So that was kind of my alarm, was him leaving just before 6 a.m. Prompted me to
Mm.
get up and start my day. So I'm not going to talk about what my day is like currently, because we're trying to break bad habits and get back into what our routine used to be.
Mm.
So I'm going to talk about what it used to be and what we're aiming to get back to. And
Okay.
so I'd normally wake up just before 6, have my coffee and probably a smoke, or vape a little bit or whatever. And then I start with chores. So cleaning bathrooms. I try to make sure the kitchen's clean the night before, so there's not that to worry about. Making sure that the dogs have been fed, put them outside, and then I'll sort of like just catch up on YouTube. We all have our favorites. YouTubers that we like to listen to their video podcast or interviews or stuff like that. So I might catch up on what I've missed there. If I was too busy to watch the live streams, and sort of just wait for the kids to wake up by themselves, because I've found that, if I wake them up, they tend to be grumpy. So if it gets too late, then I do go and wake them up. But otherwise, I just wait for them to wake up naturally, and then once they're awake, get them breakfast, and then we just start our day, depending on what the children need to be working on, then we'll get to that. The oldest is a teenager. She has her own priorities, and I've pretty much got to the point with her that I don't care what she does so long as she does what she's supposed to. So it'll be like, yeah, if you want to
Right.
browse TikTok for 20 minutes before you start your schoolwork, that's fine. I understand, you need to get your brain into gear, but like, don't overdo it. And, so things like that. And then we'll get
Mm.
started with whatever we need to do in terms of schoolwork. I try not to make it too formal because I've found that that doesn't work with my children. Um, so we do a lot of learning through play and using a lot of YouTube and other free resources that can be found on the internet. And yeah, then it's, just pretty much in between trying to create outstanding content for my YouTube channel, which I quite often miss the mark on, but that doesn't matter. I'm trying. Uh, I'm either doing that or, I'm talking like in between with dealing with children, and then there'll be more chores that need to be done around the house or stuff like that. And then uh,
Mm.
checking the social medias and all of that stuff. So that's pretty much how the day goes. I don't have a hard and fast routine. I have a list of stuff that needs to get done on a given day, and I try to tick off as much off of that as possible. And if I don't get to it, I'm just like, okay, well, tomorrow's another day, and otherwise next week. You know, that's, that's just what I do.
Do you, so like I'm going in this oblivious. So I'm just asking like random questions that pop into my brain. Do you like are your children do you think they'll be antisocial when they grow up or something? Like I don't know if antisocial is the right word, but because they're not interacting with other children.
You're assuming my kids are not interacting with other children. Like I said, there's other.
Right.
It's okay, I forgive you because you're a friend. But yo, homeschoolers get this question a lot, and we're actually used to it. So we do bitch about it a bit, and we do have snarky replies that we pull out of our sleeve from time to time. But I'm gonna try rein that in for purposes of not derailing the conversation. And like I said, we've made friends that are also homeschooling families, and we'll go and we'll visit them. And quite a funny thing that I noticed, especially with my middle child, he's like my shyest child. I don't know if you noticed that about him, because he's actually quite out of
Mm.
his shell than what he used to be. It used to be that any female that visited, he would hide. He would literally hide. And then
Oh,
he'd sort
really?
of like, yeah, he would sort of like peek around doors. And as soon as somebody noticed that he was there, then he'd run away again. It was very weird. Very weird. And he actually doesn't do that anymore. And I have a theory. I'm not a child psychologist. I've maybe read one or two articles on the internet about this, but I actually have a theory that that children that are forced into social situations that they don't choose to be in withdraw and
Mm.
become more antisocial than children that are always given the opportunity to choose to be in those social situations. So, like, we used to go to a homeschooling families meetup, and I actually stopped going because my children didn't really like it that much. They liked some of the kids there, but not all of them. And I, of
Mm.
course, liked some of the parents there, but not all of them. So we stopped going to that. And now we have like our favorite families that we like to meet up with. And it was quite funny. My husband on Saturday, we were at my friend's son's birthday party. And I mean, there's kids there that my kids see once a year at this particular child's birthday
Mm.
party. They don't know them. And they're just in there, hey, they're just having an absolute ball with all of these other kids. And my husband turns to me and he says, how did we make such social children? I'm like, I don't know. We did everything to make them antisocial, apparently, but yet here we are. So yeah.
I think you bring up a good point. I think I saw it with my sister. We kind of forced her into social situations, and it's kind of molded her into the person she is today. And she battles to like, well, back then she used to battle to greet a person, and she was like, I won't, like, and it was embarrassing for us, to be quite
Mm.
honest.
Yeah,
And
because
then we
that's
just
not
was like, we
accepted.
were just like, no, just yeah, it's not. You have to say hello.
Mm.
And she was like, nope. She went on her own way. But fair enough, she was also, we were in a private school in India, but it was, we forced her. I think it was a different culture. She was also like in a bit of a different country. Maybe that's why people also
Mm.
used to go up to her in India and touch her, like, because she had blonde hair. So it was seen as like royalty almost. If good luck. If you go and touch a
Yes.
white person's hair that has blonde hair, they're gonna get luck for the rest of their life. So I think that kind of molded her to kind of be how she is today. She's very like in her own self, and she went to private schools in India, a few because we moved quite a lot, and then we moved to Midrand when we got here, and she went to a Christian school. She did not enjoy it. And then eventually, when she became a teenager, she was like, I'm done with school. She got bullied at school quite a lot. I remember um, a girl pushed her down the stairs.
Mm.
She literally fell down the stairs and she hurt herself. She is still broken from that, like
Yeah.
physically broken
Mm.
from that. She has backache. And she was like, you know what, I'm done. And she actually did homeschooling herself. And she did incredibly well. She got higher marks in maths and science and art, and now she's studying to be a makeup artist. So I think, and she met the love of her life actually at homeschooling.
Yeah.
So I think it was in Edenvale. There's I don't know if it's still there. I'm not quite sure. There was a church called New Day, and they
Mm.
used to have like a thing on the where all the homeschooling children used to go, and then they used to spend time and all that stuff. I don't know anything about homeschooling, to be quite honest.
Mm.
But how do you like, where do you go to homeschool your children? Are there websites like,
Yeah, well,
teach me?
I just want to go back to your sister being bullied, and it's something that I found out. I didn't realize that this was the case, but it's something that I found out from kids that have
Mm,
been moved around a lot. The new kid always gets picked on,
mm,
always. Like, I went to two schools my whole life. I had no idea
mm,
the great start that my parents actually gave me from giving me that super, super stable environment, that I went to primary school and high school, and that was it. So yeah, just to address that,
wow.
the new kid is always picked on, always. And so if you move around a lot, you're always the new kid, and you either become a bully because you become proactive against it, or yeah, you end up like your sister, which
Mm,
is unfortunate. So I'm really sorry to hear that. In terms of homeschooling, you can
mm,
you can make it as cheap or as expensive as you want to. You can, if you want, you can sign up for basically school at home, and so your kids do everything, like everything gets sent to you. Everything gets sent to you in textbooks, everything. You may as well just download this stuff from the GDE if you want. But at least if you do it through a private company, you'll get like parent guides and stuff like that, and I'll show you how to do it with your kids. And there's some online tutoring as well, obviously, once the kids get older and are actually technologically literate. um, so yeah, it really depends on your financial means and how much effort you as a parent want to put in. we had zero financial means. I mean, it's not
That's
like
also
my
true.
husband is a highly paid executive. So I had to be creative, and I joined a website that's called eClassroom, purely because it costs me 70 Rand a year per pupil. And it's basically a supplementary
Wow.
worksheet place. So it's basically for struggling kids or parents who want to help their kids more. And so but it gave me a good outline of where my kids should be according to the system. I say should be because I don't believe in it. Um, but it gives me a guideline, and
Mm.
then I can expand on that because I had no clue. I had no clue what to do.
Right.
And like my sister's daughters will give me their GDA books and stuff when they're done for the year. And I just like put them away for when I need them because it just gives me an idea of where we should be in terms of what they need to be learning. Because I mean, how many of us actually remember much from school? So, yeah. And yeah, I just try and make it as fun as
I
possible.
don't
And
remember much.
exactly, this is what, like, I'm trying to make it that my children love learning. Because if they love learning, the sky is the limit for them. Like, I think that's what worked for your sister is she was able to just work on it herself at her own pace and find what she was passionate about and then self-direct herself, her education to become what she wants to become. So that's my
She actually, we spoke about it a few weeks ago, and she said it was actually more work than going to school because she had to hold herself accountable. She had to study, she had to put in those hours. She didn't have like a teacher to really lean on. She had to do it all by herself. And sometimes I wonder, like, I wish I could redo school, to be honest. I
yeah,
would
don't we
do
all?
so many things different.
Yeah.
Mm. I would actually pay attention in maths and science, you know?
I'd go back to my standard 8 self that stuffed up her knee and then just like fell off the rails completely and just say, just work hard, do your physio, get your knee back on track, go back to gymnastics and concentrate in school. Like, boys will still be there after school. Like, just get through the next 2 years
That is
and
also true. And
yeah.
that is 100%. My parents always said that. They were like, don't focus on the boys, just focus on your studies. And I'm like, cuck, man.
Yeah.
Boy, were they right.
Yep.
Gentle has a question.
Yeah.
She asks about and writing exams. How does that happen?
Okay. So I am very opinionated on um, assessments. Okay. And assessments only tell you how good a
Mm.
school and their teachers are. They don't tell you what your child actually knows. Because I can tell you now that when your child writes an exam, they might get 80% of the answers correct. They might be incredibly intelligent according to their test results or
Mm.
their exams or whatever. However, if you had to then take away all of their books, all of their learning materials, everything for a week, and then make them resit the same exam, they would only get 80% or higher on the stuff that they're actually passionate about. So I don't believe that assessments are a very good
So true.
indication of what a child has learned and what information they have
Mm.
retained. So yeah, I don't do examinations for my children, and yeah, what we will do is once it starts becoming time that we have to start thinking about tertiary education, we'll have a sit down with each child and say to them, like, what is it that you want to do when you're an adult? Because you're 16, you should have a good idea of who you are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. At least with them having this type of lifestyle, they're not bound by a curriculum. So they're figuring out what their strengths and weaknesses are and what they're passionate about. And they can say, okay, well, I would really like to be a veterinarian. Okay, great. Let's have a look at what is required for you to get into
Mm.
a university to study veterinary sciences. Um, that's what we'll do, and then we'll look at getting them into a formal program, whether that involves enrolling them in a government school just so that they can write matric, or writing matric through a registered centre, whatever it requires. Okay. Also, we don't know. I mean, at the moment, none of us know
Maybe a
what's actually
bridging
going on.
course or something.
Exactly. And we just really don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with this country. We don't know if we're going to be here in 3 years when we actually have to think about this for Hannah. So, and I've still got time with the other two that I don't have to think about it too much. So we'll kind of just make sure they know the basics and have a good sense of who they are, and have tested who they are in real life interactions and stuff, and we'll take it from there.
So I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine, and to be honest, I found school useless. I have not really taken much from school and used it in my everyday life. Yes, English because I speak English. Maybe art because now I'm a designer and I got distinctions for that. But I can promise you now, I really haven't learned much from school. Where I think school is failing is by not giving children the correct life skills. So I wish I knew how to do taxes. I wish I knew how to change a tire or make, like in lockdown, I had to learn how to bake bread. Everyone was rushing to buy bread. Remember that craze? Like I think they should do like one-on-one, 101 courses, like 101 on design, because I think everyone, and this is just the designer and me coming out, like everyone should know basic design skills, right? The world would be a much better place. Trust me. Art changes the world. Basic taxes, basic law. What are your rights? Because as a mom to like now, I don't even know my basic rights.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm referring to. I don't know if I even
Yes.
have rights these days.
I know.
Marketing, a one-on-one thing on marketing, how to start up a business, how to grow your own food. That's the stuff that we should be teaching our children.
Yes. I do believe
Not
that.
not trigonometry. Sorry, I
I do
interrupted
believe.
you.
No, I didn't realize you weren't done. I do believe that we have done this generation a disservice by focusing on academia. Not everybody is going to grow up to be a doctor, a pharmacist, a veterinarian. If you think of
A lawyer.
yes, think of any STEM field job. There's not that many jobs, and not everybody has the aptitude for it. We need artists, we need designers, we need plumbers, we need all the tradesmen, because people are not going to stop shitting, and people are not
Exactly.
going to stop needing power for their houses. People are not going to stop needing cars to get to and from work and things like that. So, the fact that we have made everything about academia, math, science, and nothing else is, we've done this generation a disservice. And that's another thing. Like with my children, they get exposed to a lot of different things. The awesome thing about being at home with them all the time is when the pipes get blocked and I call the plumber, they see what that involves. And they get really interested about
Yeah.
with these fancy tools that go down the pipes to get the stuff loosened up that we can actually flush our toilets again without flooding our house. And
Mm.
I get to one of the things also I noticed, we were about a year into this journey, if that, and Hannah was on her way to the laundry to fetch something, and she stopped dead and she dropped to her knees, and because she'd noticed a butterfly. And I know that if she'd still been in school, she would have been in such a rush that she wouldn't have stopped that, and she wouldn't have noticed it, and it wouldn't have made her stop and actually marvel at a butterfly being in the courtyard.
Sorry.
It's okay. So, there's we had a snake, a brown house snake, in our pool pump box. And the youngest was the one that noticed it. My husband was in there working, like turning the pump on and off, and the youngest is like, "Oh, there's a snake, Daddy." And my husband's like, yeah. You check it. Oh, okay, yeah, it's just a mouse. All right. Not dangerous. Okay, cool. And then husband was able to capture. He's very good with reptiles. He loves snakes. He kept a few as a kid. So he had a look. He knew what it was. Got a bucket to put it in, and then he was handling the snake fine. It did bite him a few times, but he was handling it just fine. And we managed to stroke the snake and look after it, like check it out and everything. We put it in a box, and then we released it into the nature reserve the following day. So stuff like
Wow.
that they get learning opportunities from. That if both parents were working full time and our children were in
Mm.
institutionalized education, we just wouldn't have these moments with them. So, and I would literally have to work full
That
time and I'd
is.
still come out short every month. If I take into consideration car, petrol, insurance, and school fees and aftercare fees, I would come out short if I went back into the
I
workforce now.
mean, I 100%, 100% agree with you. I mean, um, when okay, um, when my daughter was at a school here in Edenvale, um, the cost of school fees for that school together was 7,000 rand a month, and that included aftercare, and that can break you at the end of the month. That is an astronomical amount of money for school, and she really was not happy at that school at all.
Mm.
So it's I think if I could do things over, I'd probably try be a stay-at-home mom. But then again, I need to work. I need to have a job because I was a single mom. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to do it. So
yeah. Look, it's as hard as this is. I realize, and we have had to make financial sacrifices. We don't have two cars anymore.
mm,
There's a lot of things that we don't have, but we know that we're providing the most grounded, especially given the situation with schools in South Africa. It might be different if we manage to leave, but right now we know that this is the best that we can provide for our children, because they know that they are loved. Whilst they are learning, they are loved. And I think that's really important. It goes towards them having a love for learning, that they're not constantly shamed, like I know somebody in the comments' son is, um, for writing their letters slightly differently. So, we know that we're providing that. In terms of
Becoming more
needing,
stable humans.
yes. But I'm not going to sugarcoat this, okay? It is,
Mm.
I felt like I gave up a part of my identity. I really did. For a long time,
I
I
wanted
felt
to
like I
actually
gave
ask you
up a
about
part
that.
of my
Mm.
identity. It is not easy. I don't regret it. I really don't regret it. I love my
Yeah.
children for as long as I can remember. If I think back to when I was small, the only thing I wanted to be was a
Mm.
mother. Okay. So it's in my identity. But when you give up your financial freedom, when you give up a part of your life that has been a part of your life for so long, because I worked for so long, it's
Mm.
hard. It really is hard, and it's something that you have to talk to yourself about. Like, you have to figure out, like, am I really okay with this? And yeah, I am. I do lots of little hobbies that like become my thing. I mean, you guys know from watching my show, I'm always coming up with something to
Your
make or
diamond
something
art
to.
as well.
Yes, the diamond dot art. That's a
Mm.
new thing. I actually haven't done that for a while. But I'm constantly picking up something new to do. Uh, Even a YouTube channel. Just I always figure out something to fill that gap. So
So yeah, I that's what I also wanted to ask you. But I know you have your YouTube channel, but I can imagine for many other stay-home moms, the conversation must get so stale because you're not interacting with females your own age. You talking to your child mainly every day, and you're not getting stimulated.
I have a
And
theory about.
I know someone
Mm,
personally. Okay, go ahead.
no, no. Tell me your story.
No,
Tell me your story about
I
someone
know
that you know.
someone very personally that. Um, hold on, my brain is going.
Mm.
What were we talking about? Sorry, this happens a lot.
Stay-at-home moms are
What were
not
we
having
on?
adult
It's
conversation.
the oh, so it's that person is just very negative all the time. There's just no conversation. It's like, oh, I did the floors today, or I did the bedding, and there's like no real value, if I can say
Mm-hmm.
that you're putting out because you're staying at home all the time, and that's what your life is. I don't want to sound rude about it, but it's just what I've noticed.
It's funny because I know someone exactly like that as well. Uh, um, you know the I have another theory as well. And have you noticed how most SJWs, social justice warriors, are middle-aged females or nearing
Hmm.
middle age? And I
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think that stay-at-home moms that don't find a constructive hobby, that becomes their hobby. So they're on social media and, they get caught up in the fake outrage and they don't realize that it's fake outrage because, actually, when you're sitting like this on
I
your
don't know any
phone
better.
with this device that's feeding you this information on all of these things that are wrong in the world, that device is actually feeding you skewed information. And I know this because I used to be one of
Mm.
them. And I'm going to own it. I used to be one of them. I don't think I was radical, but I was one of those stay at home moms. Um, so yeah, like, I think you get a lot of your adult conversation through a device, and a lot of people don't realize that the
Mm.
relationships that they've built are not real relationships. Like, these people are not their real friends. I've made real friends through the internet, but I know I also can spot a fake one from a mile away. So
How do
we'll
you
leave it at
spot a
that.
fake friend?
You know how I said about my spidey senses when I was dealing with a troll? Like, you can kind of just you sort of start getting an off feeling about a person the more you interact with them online. And yeah, you yeah. So I think my message to stay-at-home moms would be, like, find a hobby or find something that can help you bring in a second income. Like Gentle Inflatables. She has her jumping castle business.
Mm.
You know, it not only does it bring in a little bit of extra money for the family, it also gives her something to do, something constructive. You know, it's also a bit of a sociable type of thing that she does. And then she
Mm.
also grows her own vegetables, which is very important, I think, in this day and age. You know, we need to start knowing how to grow our own food and stuff like that. So find a constructive hobby. I have my crocheting and my sewing and my art and my, like, I actually have too many that it points to the
YouTube
fact that I
channel.
might actually be ADD. Yes, my YouTube channel. Like, you know. So find something constructive to do and just do it, okay? And even just pick up a book, join the library, learn everything there is to know on a topic that you're really passionate about. Learn everything there is to know on it. Libraries are free, or just about free. You know, you don't even have to spend a lot of
So
money on
a
books.
lot of no, that's
Go.
absolutely true. I don't even know when I last stepped into a library. That was probably maybe 8 years ago. I don't even know if
Mm,
libraries still exist. I get all my information off YouTube, actually, podcasts and friends. That's how I learn. I'm a visual learner, so school really didn't help me either because I need to see something to learn it. So I show me once or twice and I'll have it. It's just like driving for me. If I go to one place once, I'll know how to get there again.
mm.
Um, so what was I going to say? I can't remember. It was just on the tip of my tongue, but now I've lost my memory. My memory is becoming really bad.
About
Um, sorry, yeah.
learning, like taking up a hobby or learning something, learning. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
I
help
think
you.
that's super important. It's even important for working moms to have a hobby, not just stay
Yes,
home
yeah,
moms.
to wind
Go
down.
have yeah, no, absolutely. You need to break away from your kids in a way. You need that
Mm,
self identity again.
yes.
Because when I fell pregnant, a part of me also like that child was my life, and I had to mold her into becoming a human. And every week that she was born, I remember I'm like, oh my god, uh, she's I've kept this child for 1 week alive. Like she's been alive for 1 week. Well done. And then 2 weeks and 3 weeks. I was like, oh my god, like I can do this. It was very scary,
Yeah.
um, being a new mom, and my parents weren't in the country, so I really didn't have like a great support system
Mm,
at all. So
yeah.
yeah, also I think having a great support system as well is important.
It is. It is. And yeah, you'll. You'll also find that you probably start having less in common with some friends, and your friendship circles might change quite a bit. So bear that in mind. I never thought that the people that I'm friends with would be dictated by how well my children get along with their children. But
Mm.
here we are. And, yeah. I've made some
What is
really
your
amazing
opinion on
friends through it. So, what is my opinion on?
working moms?
I have nothing against working moms. I am a feminist, like a second wave feminist. Um, Not this latest woke libtard nonsense. Um, I
Mm.
I support a woman's freedom to choose what she wants to do. I'm also aware that we live in a world where being a single mom is a thing. Uh, Relationships break down.
Mm.
We have a lot more external factors causing relationships to break down, that they are breaking down more than they did in our parents' generation. I also know that our parents' generation, there's a lot of unhappy kids because they wish their parents would have got divorced, because they certainly didn't love each other anymore, and they showed it at home. So, I
Mm.
I have nothing against working women. Absolutely nothing against it. You know, I know that this is not a life that most of my friends would choose at all. So that's it. That
Yeah, I
work,
think
don't work.
my mom has always said something to me. Sorry, I think there's a bit of a delay. My internet has been quite bad lately. But one thing that I can take away, my mom has always taught me to never really give up my job for a
Mm,
man, because she
mm,
said your financial freedom is ripped away and your life depends on that man.
mm,
So she's like, don't. So that, if anything, my mom has taught me, it's that. And it's not only my mom. Like, I was in a serious relationship, and um, she was a stay-home mom, and she really was not happy with her husband. Kind of didn't give her a choice, and she was like, now you're going to stay at home, you're going to raise the children. And he would give her no money. And
yeah.
she was like, don't make that same mistake. Have a family, but never, ever, ever give up your day job. If you do, have a half day job. Just have
Yes.
some money in case something happens, you can get out.
Or freelance, or something. Don't lose your work experience. So I think I married a unicorn.
Mm.
All right. Because there is absolutely no other man that I have been in a serious relationship that I would have done this with. But my husband has always been,
Mm.
our money is our money, no matter who earns it. And he is highly appreciative of the fact that we don't have to pay school fees and aftercare fees, and our children are getting the love and care and everything that they need, um, in order to be, responsible, decent adults. So, yeah, you know, I'm aware that my husband is a unicorn. Um, I'm not saying that there aren't other men like that out there, because I might not know Adam very well, but I get the feeling he's a good egg. So I don't want to offend him. And Count as well, who's also here. So I'm just saying, like, there's men that I would
I I
do this with.
can.
Yeah,
My dad is very much like that. My dad
yeah,
is like that. He might live in Nigeria, but his money is my mom's money.
yeah,
And that's how it's always been. And my mom was like, if a guy does not like tell you that if their money is basically yours, then he's not the right guy for you. But I don't
exactly.
really but for me, it's a bit different. Like, I don't know. I have a different opinion. Like, you can have your own money. I just, maybe I'm just a bit different because I've always had um, relationships where, like, this is yours, this is yours. That's how all my relationships, like, every single one. It's never like a combined unit. And I think it's also stems from like childhood issues that they had. Like
Yes.
the dad controlled the household, and the mom was basically seen as like the stay-home mom. So I take control of all the finances, and you do what I say. And I don't know. I think it could stem from that. I'm not exactly sure.
I do think that we need to have like proper relationship counseling for kids as well. Like if this isn't modeled
Yes.
to them, like we need to actually start teaching this to our kids. Like our kids know our money is our money. I mean, it's their money too. They know that mom and dad pay for the house, they pay for the food, they pay for the cleaning stuff, they pay for the water and the electricity that they uh, have the luxury of using. They mom and dad clean the house. Well, the kids get involved now too, which is also a good
Mm.
thing to teach them. Uh, Dad keeps the pool clean so that they can enjoy the pool and things like that. Like I hope that they'll always have that sense of once you're in a partnership, it's a partnership.
I
And
agree.
it's always it's always fine to say, okay, this is our monthly budget. This is what we absolutely have to pay. These are the non-negotiables. That you can't change the price of food, and this is how much food we eat. So this is how much we need to buy that food.
Mm.
We can't change how much it costs for husband to get to work. So that money is allocated. We can't change our car payments. We can't change our bond payments. We can't change our insurance payments. Stuff
Mm.
like that. I mean, we can shop around, see if we can get it cheaper, but our brokers do that for us anyway, so that's fine.
Mm.
Things like that. And then you look at what you have left over and you say, okay, well, this can be pocket money for child number one, and that's pocket money for child number two, and that's pocket money for child number three. And here's mom and dad's pocket money. So then you have stuff to you have your own money. You can choose to put that money in a savings account. You can choose to splurge it on chocolate and eat till you get sick. You know, like that's a mature way to actually have a partnership in terms of, and I'm talking about no matter who's bringing in the money, one or both of you can
Mm-hmm.
have this conversation. It's a partnership.
Exactly. And I think that's where and I know this is going to go a bit deep into relationships now, but I think that's where I didn't see the warning signs in a lot of my relationships because I just thought that was like the new normal thing and I accepted it. But
Mm.
going forwards, I will look for a united partnership
Yeah.
where our everything, like what you bring in, what I bring in, is ours
Yes.
together. If we want to leave the country together, we use both of our money.
Yes.
And yeah. So thanks for that. That you teaching me something, you know?
Again,
Yeah, always.
it's so funny how a a stay-at-home mom conversation turns into relationship advice. But this is just how things go with me. There's so like everything just
It
does that.
it marries together. It connects, yeah.
Yeah. Everything in my life, everything that happens in my life is because of something else that has happened. It's like you can't separate the stories. Like you just can't. I mean, I know there's plenty of women that would not be safe. They would not be safe if they did not have a job. So yeah, I would never hold that against a working mother.
That got very deep.
It did.
But I think it's needed. I think if anyone can take anything away from this, it's be a united front for your children too, because
Mm.
it will really shape them as adults.
Mm.
And we don't need more broken humans in this world.
No, we don't.
There are already so many.
Yeah.
And I know I'm one. I'm a broken adult and I have to go seek professional help just to give me coping mechanisms. May it be it pills or just someone to talk to, you know?
But that's
Um
everybody as well. We all have stuff. We all have baggage. It's called life. If you don't have baggage, you haven't lived.
yeah, that is actually very true. Beth, I actually
Mm.
wanted to ask you a question, and
Yes.
it is coming up to an hour, and I still haven't eaten dinner. But I just wanted to ask you something, and I normally ask people this question, and okay, I'm just gonna ask it. What is one thing that you like about yourself? And I'll ask the audience too. What is one thing that you really like about yourself? Because we're so easy to always think about the negative.
Mm.
What
It's
is
always,
something good?
I think I'd have to say my compassion and empathy. Like, I can really, I actually sometimes have to disassociate from it because I can really feel for people sometimes, and I can be really compassionate. Like, I can try and see both sides in a lot of situations, and
Mm.
I can understand how difficult things can be, and so that's what I would say.
Wow, that is beautiful. Um, I think I've spoken to you about quite a lot of my life issues. Even from wow, gentle, just
I was looking at the one before that.
oh my word! Wait, I have to. Oh, gentle says her sex laugh. At least someone's having sex. Right, guys. I think
Thanks, audience.
it wouldn't be us if we didn't
He's
do that.
he's been waiting the whole show for an opportunity to make it dirty. He's been sitting there waiting, and he knew like he was running out of time. So there we go.
I want to say something here, but I don't think it's quite appropriate. It involves plugs. Anyway, no, I'm not going to get
Yeah,
in
we're
that.
not going. We're not doing that again. We're not having that conversation again. No.
Okay. That got a bit rough, real quick.
You see, I'm spot on. He says exactly. He's been waiting the whole show to make it dirty. I told you.
You have to love Adam. You have to love him.
Yeah. We do love him.
Plugs lives matter. Gosh. Um. Okay. No. Seriously, guys. What is one thing that you like about yourselves? I think for me, gentle. I think it would be no matter how much shit I've been through, I can still find it in my heart to love unconditionally. I always see the good in people, no matter how bad they have treated me or treated someone else that I know. I always try to see the good. Um, and just, I really like my personality, to be honest. I think I have a winning personality, quite honestly. Me offline is something else.
like after that, I can't stay serious. Like I can't. I'm
No,
sorry.
me neither.
No, you
We
are in
needed
a
it from the.
yeah.
Sorry,
No, I
there's a
have to
delay.
agree. You have climbed into my heart in the short 2 months that we've known each other. It's
Mm,
we don't.
you're gonna make
Yeah,
me cry for real.
yeah, we won't go there. No tears tonight. We'll save those for offline.
I have to. I have to really keep it in. Yeah, you really mean something very special to me, and I'm very, very lucky to have met all of you guys. Count
Yes.
Adam. I mean, I've known Adam for 10 years. I mean, he's my closest, bestest friend. He knows everything about me, the good and the bad. And I love Gentle. I'm still getting to know Gentle, but she seems to be just a naughty version of us, even naughtier.
I
And I
think
love
so.
her. She's a beautiful soul. Yeah.
I think
And I love you because you're brutally honest. You are. Well, that's
yeah.
one of your best qualities is you're very honest.
Sometimes I can be too honest. I don't. I tend to lack a filter, so and I have to constantly
I don't
remind
know if
my
that's a
children not
bad
to come
thing
on
though.
camera. Yeah, I don't know. It can be hurtful, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm in
I
two minds
guess I
about
guess
it.
you're right. There's a small I was actually speaking to Joe about it earlier. Um there's just a fine line that you just don't cross. And one thing that Adam has also taught me is pick your battles. If
Mm,
anything, he's taught me pick your battles. Like
yeah,
really, like that is always at the back of my head. Like, do I want to start a fight at work because your artwork you didn't brief me in correctly or something like that? You know, just be calm, mindful, and just know when to fight.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
so
Have you thought of a sign-off line? That's
I
something I
can't
probably
say
should
it.
have told you before. You can't say it. Okay.
No, I have one. It's just not appropriate.
Okay.
Um, I don't know
So
if
get
anyone
another
will know,
one.
but yeah, that's very rude. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I'm still learning all of this, Beth. What is a sign off line? I know you like don't wear your mask if you don't have to.
Yes. And I expanded on it
Um,
since then. So yeah. But my daughter begged me not to
I
drop the mask one. So it's still there.
no, I don't think you should. You should keep it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on it to be quite honest. I'm just being honest. Working on it. Working on myself. This is why there's this podcast. Aim to be me, and that's a better me
Mm-hmm.
for me. And yeah, better mom, better
Amy, that looks
partner,
really
because
bad.
I know I could.
Amy, what you're doing with your hand looks really bad because it's like just off screen. Like just, I'm just saying.
It's my itchy leg.
Okay, well,
Oh God.
just just go watch the replay and like, I'm just saying.
Blooper number one.
There we go. I must do my blooper reel.
Oh wait, Adam has something to say. Um, gosh, definitely won't be using that. But
No.
thanks. That reminds me of Bakhat, that movie. I don't know if you ever
Oh,
watched it.
no, I did not.
Anyway, I'll work on my sign offline. I'll work on it, but I don't have one right now. I didn't even think of it, to be quite honest.
I know it was something I forgot
But
that I
yeah,
could have told you. So, anyway. We
I'll be
learn, and we
better
get better.
for next time. Yeah.
There we go.
This is all a learning curve. I mean, just you on my. I never thought I would be doing this, to be quite honest. I never thought I'd be sitting here doing a podcast. I mean, in the beginning of the year, someone said to me, Amy, you got thyroid cancer for a reason. And I'm like, sorry, what?
Mm.
Like, science proves that I got thyroid cancer because, like, of the pollution and the radiation and probably like hereditary issues and whatever. She was like, no, you got thyroid cancer because you're just not raising your voice. You're not speaking up about the things that you believe in. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to use this to my advantage and maybe start a podcast and talk about the things that really interest me. And like, I have so much shit to, like, Adam last night, that really touched me.
Mm.
And it kind of inspired me, uh, not to talk about like my deep depression and stuff like that, but to talk about like parental alienation, because that's
Mm.
something that I'm going through right now.
Mm.
um my daughter's been brainwashed against me. Almost, she's scared to come near me, and it's horrible. So it's given me a platform just to raise awareness about the things that really matter to me.
Mm. Okay.
So,
That's really profound. Like I'm very wary of putting my very personal stuff out there. I can't
mm,
bring myself to do it. I think it probably because it's been used against me in the past. So I wouldn't be able to. So I think this is very brave what you're doing. Very, very brave.
it has to be, Beth, it's very one sided. I feel like I don't have my story to tell her because she's not with me.
Mm.
I can't tell her what's actually happening. So, this is the only form of communication that I can actually possibly change her mind in the future. And I'm sure a lot of people have told me, like, just leave it, she'll come back to you. Like, a child always needs their mother. And I'm just like, I need to talk about it. I need to, even if it's like a Dear Diary type of thing, to tell her, Alicia, like, mommy loves you. Mommy misses you every day. Mommy thinks about you constantly. It's, and I think that's part of my mental stability, emotionally unstable
Mm.
thing that I've had to go through this year. A lot of people have seen me to be emotionally unstable, and it's, how can you expect me to be stable when I'm going through such a traumatic time? And
No,
I don't expect
exactly.
anyone to understand. I really don't, because I really haven't come across many people that have gone through this. It's such a, I feel it almost feels taboo to speak
Mm.
about, because they
Yeah.
often question, like, what did you do?
Mm.
What did you do to lose your child?
Yeah, that's
So
always the case. You must have done something wrong.
yeah. So Chad, I don't know who Chad is actually.
I do, and he's awesome.
Um,
He's a good egg. He's good to have around. Thank you
is he?
for watching, Chad.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right.
It's
Hi,
nice to have you
Chad.
here.
Sorry, I don't know who you are, but thank you for coming through and supporting us. Um, yeah, thank you
Yeah, it's
for just for coming on my show and talking about becoming a stay-home supermom and all your challenges too. And I've learned a lot from you, like always.
no, thank you for the invite. It's an honor to be your first official guest. So thank you very much. And I wish you all the best with this journey. And I look forward to
Thank you.
discovering new ways to figure out who I am authentically as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And yeah, I'd love to have Adam on the show if you want to come on. We can talk about mental health and talk about your anxiety in a way because I think both of us deal with that. But
Mm.
anyway, we can talk about that offline. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and supporting the channel. Cheers! I don't know how to do
Bye
this.
bye.
Bye.